Next, it's everyone's favorite video game discussion show. An all-new GameView starts right now.
Hey guys, it's Scott.
And I'm Roxie.
Welcome to GameView for January 2018. First episode of the new year. Are you excited?
Oh yeah, I'm totally excited, man.
Alright, so we've got a couple interesting things to talk about, but first up, what's on the agenda tonight?
We have the Animal Crossing and some Yoshi leaks, Kirby Battle Royale, the end of Miitomo, a little bit of Nvidia Shield from Nintendo that they were selling in China, specifically about Twilight Princess, the introduction of Nintendo Labo, and the Nintendo Mini Direct.
Okay, so let's get started with the first topic of the night, the leaks on Animal Crossing and Yoshi. So, this just happened about a week or two ago, but first up, Animal Crossing. I know there's a huge fan base out there that's just waiting for a Switch version to be released, and apparently, Nintendo just filed for a brand new Animal Crossing trademark in Japan. This trademark makes references to software for a home video game machine, so I think it's obvious we're talking the Switch here. It also has additional trademarks, addendums for a portable electronic game machine and smartphone devices. So, what do you want to make of this?
A home console, or home electronic device is clearly, the Switch. So I guess that would give some kind of confirmation that a Animal Crossing Switch game is in the works. It may not be what the people want, and it may be what the people want. Who knows? Portable device, or portable electronic device, obviously, the 3DS, because Nintendo has said that they're not trying to kill off the 3DS with the Switch. Though I guess technically it could be the Switch, since it is both. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. And then mobile device. I wonder why they would be going for another phone app for Animal Crossing.
The trademark does cover a lot of broad stuff in general. I mean, it even includes stuffed animals, controllers, board games, amiibo cards, cases, and just a ton of general stuff. But I guess the takeaway from this is if they are working on a new Animal Crossing title, we're probably still at least a good year and a half, 2 years away, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, we'll probably see some information about a new Animal Crossing game around E3 time, because that's when Nintendo wants to drop all of their major stuff, is around E3.
Makes sense. Alright, so, speaking of leaks, we also have one for Yoshi, the new Yoshi game for Nintendo Switch that Nintendo has been surprisingly quiet on since, I think, E3 last year. Pretty much, Amazon Italy sort of leaked the release date as being Friday, June 29th, 2018. It's not too out of the ordinary, to be honest. A couple other retailers have leaked this date as well. I originally thought Yoshi was going to be a Q2 release. June sounds about right. And it is on a Friday, and that's when Nintendo releases their first parties. What do you think on that?
Yeah, that seems pretty on par to what Nintendo is doing. It's not really shocking that they're being real tight-lipped about the game, since Nintendo has been incredibly tight-lipped when it comes to everything ever since the announcement of the Nintendo Switch. Like, they haven't really said much about anything. And I feel like that's a good practice, because it means that the less they say, the less they will get, the less major stuff will get leaked. Or will be spoiled for everyone until, the actual game's release. They'll probably, around, May or E3 time, they'll say, hey, look, it's the new Yoshi game. It's coming out next week or in 2 weeks, depending on whenever E3 is this year.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they're gonna do. I mean, especially since E3 is the beginning of June, so makes sense to have, like, a big title coming out shortly after E3, and Yoshi,
It gives some people something to look forward to until something like, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, or Metroid, something, of their more major IPs come out. Because Yoshi, yeah, he's really popular, but he sort of bites off Mario, where he's the lesser IP when compared to the actual Mario titles and the Zelda titles and Pokemon.
Yeah, it's sort of going into a little bit of my thoughts that this year might be a bit less impressive than last year, for obvious reasons, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So, next up on tonight's agenda, something that I'm not really too interested in myself, because, again, I'm not a big fan of Kirby or Yoshi myself here, but earlier this month, we saw the release of Kirby Battle Royale for the 3DS.
We sure did, didn't we? I wasn't interested in it, so I didn't play it.
I took a glimpse of it. It's, what, a multiplayer game?
I guess.
I guess, for the most part, this maybe holds over Smash players until an actual Smash Bros. Game comes on Switch, but other than that, I really have no interest in it whatsoever.
I don't either.
Okay, so moving on. Next, a bit of interesting information. So, I guess it's not too surprising considering how really not a lot of people were interested in it. But apparently Nintendo is killing off Miitomo.
That is a little bit of a shock given how little Miitomo's life cycle was. Like, it was a very popular game when it came out, and it lasted, for, I'd say about a good few months, and then just, it died off. Which was unfortunate because it was very interesting. It was a very interesting concept for a game, and I did like it, but with, Miiverse being killed off, it sort of makes sense as to why Miitomo would be dying.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, compared to the other more well-known smartphone apps like Super Mario Run and Pocket Camp and Fire Emblem, it does sort of make sense. Like, I mean, Miitomo is sort of like heading back towards like the original Wii and Wii U days, and they want to move forward with well-known franchises.
Right.
But I guess I was surprised at how quickly they decided to just shut it down, because apparently, according to this, you can't even buy any more coins, and as of May 9th of this year, it'll be completely gone.
As in the servers will die and
Yep.
get unplugged.
Yeah.
And that I feel like that's a right shame, because it was interesting. It was a very interesting game. It was actually a game that you could swear in, and if you know me, you know I like my swearing.
I think everyone knows that at this point, Roxy.
But yeah, it was very, very interesting.
Kind of a shame that it didn't quite last, what was it, 2 years? Or maybe...
Yeah, I think about 2 years, because Fire Emblem Heroes came out first, then Miitomo. No. I think Miitomo came out first. I'm not sure. I know Fire Emblem Heroes is coming on its first full year, as its anniversary is in a couple of days.
Okay. Alright, well, just like with the closure of Miiverse, yeah, I guess this whole Mii concept thing is being shut down, and Nintendo moving on towards other, bigger, better stuff. Okay, so, next, we've got something that I don't really know a lot about, so I guess this is more in your wheelhouse, but the Nvidia Shield and Twilight Princess emulation.
So, in China, Nintendo released this, this little special Nvidia Shield, I believe it was. And what it is it came with a few real popular games that were on the Nintendo Wii. Namely, you know, Punch-Out!, Twilight Princess, and New Super Mario Bros., and I believe Super Mario Galaxy. And the way that these are working is, as a, I can't remember the Twitter that put it out, but somebody managed to get their hands on it and looked through the files and discovered that Twilight Princess is the GameCube version being ran on a type of GameCube emulator that outputs the game in 1080p on the Nvidia Shield. And if I remember correctly, the Nvidia Shield's specs are close to that of what we have in the Switch, which could potentially lead to the Nintendo Switch getting GameCube Virtual Console very soon.
I would hope so. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and we know that the Switch is more than capable of it. So I guess at this point, maybe it's just Nintendo waiting until, I guess, the initial hype from Breath of the Wild and Odyssey dies down, and then maybe they'll focus on the Virtual Console and emulation. But, I mean, it does bring up a, at least a little bit of a glimmer of hope that we'll see it here.
It'll probably be, if anything, it'll most definitely be announced at around E3 time. We do know that it got delayed till, or the paid online service for the Nintendo Switch got delayed till later this year. So, it all depends on what the Big N has in store for us at E3.
Okay, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. Okay, so next up, something that sort of threw me for left field, especially with Kimishima in charge, Nintendo Labo. First impressions, Roxie.
The Nintendo Labo, to me, it seems like a very cool concept. A lot of people were trashing it because it was just, you know, it was cardboard, and that's what it is. And a lot of people didn't understand the price of, like, why it was priced so high. The reason why is because you're paying $60 for the game, like the actual game cartridge. You're just paying the extra $10 or the extra $20 for the cardboard, depending on, you know, which kit you get. But the major thing that people seem to have forgotten is that it's not a way, Nintendo Labo was not meant to be a way for us as adults or teenagers to interact with the Switch. It was meant for children, or those who were very kid-like at heart. And so I understand where it's coming from, like why they're putting it out there like they have.
It's very interesting, and I do agree it is aimed at the kid market, so I'd say probably anyone under 10 years old. I don't know, it sort of threw me for a loop, I guess, because in a way I do get it. I mean, it's sort of like interactive gaming. So you put your Switch console itself within a cardboard structure, and like you're playing or simulating playing a piano, or you know, like with the robot kit, you know, you essentially have this big cardboard attached to your back, and you're sort of simulating yourself actually playing like an actual robot. I don't know if kids will want to continue playing it over time, though. It feels like something that you would play for maybe about a month, just because, you know, you're excited, it feels interactive, you're getting into the game, but then after that, you know, how many people are actually going to bother, you know, putting all of this on and, you know, doing that?
I guess it would depend on the kid and the type of parents they have.
Yeah.
Because some things, you know, the kid is obviously going to need help with from their parents if they want to set up, you know, like the piano apparently takes like 2 hours to make, which is insane, but I understand it.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just, it depends on the kid personality as well as the personality of the parents.
The other thing is, I would hope that the actual cardboard is pretty durable, because I would hate for someone to actually spend $80 on this, and then they mess up, they accidentally tear something or bend it out of shape, and then, oops, you know.
Yeah, that would definitely suck.
Alright, so as far as Labo's concerned, in case you don't know about this, it comes in 2 different kits. Toy-Con 1, which is a variety kit, MSRP retailing for $69.99. Basically, you can create 2 RC cars, a fishing rod, a house, a motorbike, and a piano. The second kit, which is $79.99, is the robot kit. This one is a little bit more involved, but other than that, not really much to say on that. And of course, there's also the customization set, which for an extra $10, you can get some stencil sheets, stickers, and colored tape rolls, just to customize and put your own take on the cardboard and the designs. So I'm not gonna buy it myself. Roxy, you getting this?
Absolutely not, because I don't have the money to. If I were to ever get a Nintendo Labo kit, it would definitely be the robot one, though. Like, yeah, it's $80, it's more expensive, but if you look at it and look at how it works, it's so interesting, because it's a bunch of, like, levers and pulleys working together with infrared technology to bring a sense of virtual reality to the Switch, which is a console that technically can't run virtual reality.
That is true. One thing I should point out for everyone, though, please be careful if you are getting the Nintendo Labo, because the last thing you want is to put in your Joy-Cons or the Switch tablet, it's not secured properly, it falls out, something gets damaged. I think you'll be pretty angry. I'm just throwing that out there.
Absolutely. Be extra careful, and if you get the robot kit, please don't punch your TV.
Or anyone else standing around you, right?
Right.
Okay. Good thing we clarified that. Okay. So, next up, we have, well, still quite a few things to talk about, but this all falls under one broad, general topic, which is the Nintendo Mini Direct that came out at the beginning of this month. And, we're gonna start off talking about these things in order. But before we get to that, I just want to give my initial impressions of the Direct, and then I guess you can give yours here, Roxy. First off, a little bit surprising, because a couple weeks prior to that, right, we all sort of knew about the leaks that a Direct was going to be released, but no real announcement by Nintendo until what was really the day of. So we didn't really get any advance notice, and then it just popped out of nowhere. So that was a bit of a surprise. Overall, a couple of interesting things. I understand that because it's a mini Direct, obviously it's not going to be like a big showcase overall. So yeah, I guess that sort of makes me a little bit easier in the sense that there wasn't really a lot of stuff that I personally was interested in. But at least it was nice they managed to get something out at the beginning of the year to say, you know, hey, we know it's 2018, here are a couple of things to look forward to. What did you think about it?
I thought it was very interesting about, you know, everything that they showed off. I had just woken up in time for the Direct whenever it launched, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta get ready for the Direct. And I started like scrolling down once I pulled the website up, and the first game just sent shivers down my spine because it made me incredibly happy because it was a game that I used to like play as a kid. I like borrowed it from a friend, he let me play it, and I loved it. I just fell in love. And then they reused some of the characters in a Kingdom Hearts game that was on the 3DS. And now they're bringing that game to the Switch, which was The World Ends With You. I was just ecstatic. And then I didn't really care about anything else until they got to the end of it, which was Dark Souls, which I was very shocked, but I shouldn't have been. After I saw that, you know, they put Skyrim on the Switch, they put Doom on the Switch, Wolfenstein 2, seeing Dark Souls on the Switch and it being portable, that concept is just so interesting to me. Because, like, Dark Souls is it's this meme game now. Everybody just makes memes of it. Oh, you know, Cuphead is the Dark Souls of run and jump game, or run and gun games. Crash Bandicoot's the new Dark Souls, everything. It was just Dark Souls being this like meme of a game that it is now, being put on the Switch. It was very cool, I'd like to say.
Alright, well, let's delve into this a little bit then. So first off, let's start with The World Ends With You. So I never played this game, but maybe you can explain a little bit about it.
So I never actually got to beat it. I played a little bit of it. I got a fair bit into the game, and it's an incredibly long one at that. Like, it is a long game. But you start out as this kid named Neku in the town, or the city of Shibuya. And you play this game called The Reaper's Game, where if you fail the mission, you're done. That is your life. You essentially die. Because the price to pay the game is your will to live. It's very dark and, like, I don't want to say edgy game, but it's a very dark game. Because you play in this, like, world below the world. Not an underworld per se, but like a sub-level to it. And there's just so many characters that clash with each other. Like, you'll see Beat and Neku argue with each other because of how Neku's personality is. He's a loner, he likes to stay away from people and doesn't want to get attached. But Beat is a more aggressive, not so much thug type character, but like, if you've ever played Persona 4, he's a little bit like Kanji Tatsumi, but he's not that level of thug. He's somebody who tries to be hard, who's a real softy inside. It's just, all the characters are really fun. The story is really, once it grabs you, it grabs you. And the controls for the DS version were very interesting. Because you had to use, you had to use the touchscreen to control, as well as to attack. Which I thought was really weird, which they're bringing back into the remix version but you can also control it with the Joy-Cons. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out. And there's a brand new scene with a new character, which is mind-blowing because the character's pretty cute. She looks, if anybody's played Danganronpa V3, she kind of looks a little bit similar to PAYDAY, the main character.
Okay.
And so, the extra scene, I'm curious to see what they're planning with her and how that's going to go.
Now, this game, you said it released on the Nintendo DS, right?
Yes. It came out a long time ago on the Nintendo DS.
And what is it exactly? Is it a turn-based JRPG, or...?
No, it's not turn-based at all.
Okay.
It's more like... I don't know the way to describe it, but you're fighting... It's like an action JRPG. Kind of like Kingdom Hearts, but not like Kingdom Hearts. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Like, you have these things called pins, and these different pins are your attacks. And like I said, you have to use the touchscreen to control Neku and use his pins. And you can get like this, you can get this fire pin. I think they're called Psyches. It's been a while since I've played, so my terminology's a bit rusty. But you use this like fire psych to just make this like line of fire appear on the touchscreen to damage the enemy called Noise, which is what the Reapers summon to attack the players. And you can there's this lightning one where you just tap on the screen and lightning strikes down. You've got a slash one where you just like, if you tap on the Noise while Neku's nearby, he'll just start slashing at him. It's interesting.
Okay. Well, at least the good news is that they're bringing back a game that's, what, almost 10 years old now?
Over 10 years old, actually.
Oh, wow.
It came out in 2007. And then they remade it onto mobile devices, which is currently on Google Play. It's a 4.5 out of 5. And now they're putting it out on the Switch, which I gotta admit, I'm gonna get the day it comes out.
I will say that it gives me hope. If they are bringing back and remastering games from over a decade ago, then maybe we can see a lot more remastered as well. So, next up on the list, what was it? Oh, right! The game that no one cares about! And, literally, I feel like the only reason Game Freak is doing this is because we all know that Pokemon isn't coming out until 2019, so they have to do something to try and appease Pokemon fans for this year, and this is part of it. The new Battle Pokemon and the new paid DLC for Pokken Tournament Deluxe. What are your thoughts on this?
They shouldn't do it. For as small as a game as Pokken is, to make paid DLC for it, it's stupid. Even ARMS, all the DLC and all the new characters that they added were free. For Splatoon and Splatoon 2, all the new stuff was free. For something like Pokken, you do not put paid DLC into the game where people are already hesitant about it. And some people clearly don't like it. You just don't. Even if the quote-unquote season pass is $20 for everything, you don't do it. You don't make people pay for their Pokemon.
It goes against what Game Freak said a couple of years ago, and I see why they're trying to get away with it, because I forget if it was Ishihara or someone else at the time, maybe it was Masuda, but a few years ago, they were saying how with the core series of games, they don't feel how it's appropriate to include paid DLC just because of the general audience for Pokemon. Now, yes, Pokken is a spin-off, I get it, so I understand why they're trying to do this, but at the same time, I think it's a stupid decision, and here's why. You had the Pokken Tournament game out for the Wii U. Then you got the remade, ported version, Pokken Tournament Deluxe, for the Switch, which was supposed to be the definitive version of the game. And now you're essentially telling people, it's not the definitive version, we're coming out with another paid definitive version of the game, and literally, I'm assuming that if you are a competitive Pokken player, you'll end up having to pay for this stuff because you need the extra Pokemon. You need access to Mega Rayquaza, or Mimikyu, or Blastoise, or the Mew and Celebi support set. But it's just, I was never interested in Pokken ever since it came out on the Wii U, and this does not make me want to get the game. In fact, it even drives me into sort of like a negative rating for why I don't want to get the game now.
I've said it before last time we talked about Pokken. Pokken, first of all, isn't a game that's worth the $60. You're better off waiting until Black Friday sales, or going to your local GameStop where somebody will bring it in as they'll trade it in and it'll be a pre-owned copy for like $20 at some point. It's not worth paying full price. And then the DLC is just, it's more way for them to take money off of you, and it's not worth it.
Yeah, I have to agree 100%, unless you are an absolute hardcore competitive Pokken player, of which I don't know that many out there myself.
They did have a Pokken Tournament, at E3 this past year, so...
Oh yeah, I mean, clearly there's a fan base for it, but I'm just not interested in it at all, and, like I said, in my personal view, I think it's just a pure cash grab. Aside from the Detective Pikachu game that's coming out for the 3DS, I feel like Game Freak had to come out with something this year, because obviously we're not going to see the core Switch title, so it's like, yeah, we've got Detective Pikachu for the more casual crowd, and for the more hardcore fighting crowd, you know what, let's expand upon Pokken Tournament, and this will take us, all of 3 or 4 weeks to create, and that way we can make an extra $20.
Don't forget the Detective Pikachu movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where Detective Pikachu is being voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Here we go. Alright, so, next topic, as part of this January 11th Direct, we have more footage of Kirby Star Allies, the game that is releasing on Friday, March 16th, worldwide for the Nintendo Switch. Are you any more interested in it than last time?
There's a Kirby game coming out for the Switch?
That pretty much answers my question.
Yeah, I mean, I get that Kirby's like a really popular IP, he's a really popular character amongst Nintendo fans, but he's cute. I played one Kirby game all the way through. I played the Kirby game on the 64, like The Legend of the Crystal Shards or whatever, and that's all. I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of it. Kirby's cool, you can like it. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. I don't know don't know what to say on this. I mean, I do agree it's a first-party game, so, I mean, one of the first-party games coming out for 2018. I did see in the Direct how they upgraded the graphics. Everything looks a lot better than the initial footage. But again, I don't think I will be getting this game, and I don't think you will either, right?
If I ever get it, it'll be as like a random Christmas present that some family member knew that I liked games, didn't know what to get me, thought I liked Kirby, and then got it for me.
Alright.
That would be the only way I would get it.
Okay, so next up, we have got the ultimate version of Hyrule Warriors, and I called this because several months ago in a previous GameView episode, I brought this up, Roxy. I mentioned how it was odd how we had Fire Emblem Warriors on the Switch, but we didn't have Hyrule Warriors, and I know you brought up how it was on the 3DS and the Wii U, so it got me thinking that Kimishima was going to port this over to the Switch, and now we've got a definitive edition coming to the Switch.
And unlike Pokken, it's coming with extra DLC that you don't have to pay for.
What a surprise there! So, we've got some extra content from Breath of the Wild, and as far as release date, I think we're looking at Q2, but I think that was pretty much all that was mentioned, right?
I can't really remember. At this time, I don't remember much about it. I do remember the Breath of the Wild outfits. I think there was like a little bit more that was added to it.
Apparently, it includes all the content and DLC from both the Wii U and 3DS releases, and a couple of new costumes as well. I think it's a brilliant idea bringing this over to Switch, mind you.
I think it's a good idea too. It'll definitely be better than playing it at on the 3DS, which was arguably the least powerful version, as well as the Wii, because like both experience frame drops, and it'll be better on the Switch because you'll have better frames. You've got all the DLC. It'll be a better version on the Switch. Still wouldn't pay $60 for it though.
Yeah, I still don't think I'm gonna get it myself, just because I'm not into this type of game genre. But I do have to commend Kimishima on this because, like I said, I mean, I thought this was coming, and here we are, and, for fans of the Warriors franchise, now you've got Hyrule Warriors, you've got Fire Emblem Warriors, and, maybe down the road you'll get another Warriors game, who knows?
I will say that if you skipped Hyrule Warriors but did get Fire Emblem Warriors and you liked it, definitely pick up this version of Hyrule Warriors because it's gonna be similar. It's not gonna be the exact same. Like in Fire Emblem Warriors, you've got the weapon triangle, but in Hyrule Warriors you won't have that. It'll still be It'll still be fun. I do like the story for Hyrule Warriors. I still don't think it's worth $60. But if you have the extra money and you want a game that's a pretty good time waster, definitely get it. Like it puts an interesting spin onto the Zelda series. A lot more interesting than Breath of the Wild did.
Alright, so up next on the agenda, we've got a brand new first-party title coming out, Mario Tennis Aces. Again, I am not a huge fan of this, but at least it's a brand new game. Your thoughts?
I've only ever played, I can't say I've only ever played one sports Mario game. I've played all the golf, I've played all the karts, I played Mario Super Sluggers, which is the only one with actual story to it. And I liked Mario Super Sluggers. A friend of mine was really, really excited about Mario Tennis Aces because he played the Mario Tennis game that had a story back on the Game Boy Advance. He loved it. He's really excited for it. I'm kind of interested in it. It's not going to be a day one get or even like, a month one get. I'll definitely have to like wait. It's one of those wait and see type of games for me. But I do say it looks very interesting to me.
Yeah, it's interesting how they brought this up. Again, we're sort of leading into more of the spin-off titles, more so this year than last year. But I do agree it was better for them to come out with a new Mario Tennis title than porting over Ultra Smash from the Wii U, which was almost an acclaimed disaster in terms of everyone actually hating that game. So probably...
Wait, there was a Mario and Tennis game on the Wii U?
Yeah. Let us never speak of that again. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna port over games from the Wii U, port over the good games, and for the bad games like Ultra Smash, better just to leave them and come out with a sequel instead. So, Mario Tennis Aces, exclusively for the Switch, it's being developed by Camelot. Now, it's interesting.
Really? Camelot's the one doing it?
Yeah.
That's very interesting because Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, which was a very, very popular Mario Golf game, was made by the same developers.
Let us hope that they do better than with Ultra Smash, because they also developed that. Cough. Yeah, so as you already mentioned, Tennis Aces is the first game since Mario Tennis Power Tour in 2005 that does feature a story mode. It also features boss battles reminiscent of RPGs with everyone's favorite character, Petey Piranha. Also set for a Q1 release.
Like I said, I'm not going to get it like day one or month one. It's going to be one of those wait and see games, but if it ends up like looking really interesting and the story's good to it, which is, haha funny for a sports game, I might consider trying to get it.
Sounds about right. Also, fun fact, Camelot also responsible for some of the older Golden Sun games.
Oh, wow.
Alright, so, next up, we've got Eve's 8, Lacrimosa of DANA, which I have no clue what this is about, but, any thoughts on this one?
Don't look at me. I've never seen this series before. I've never looked into it. I know nothing about it. I will say what we saw was really interesting. It looked cool, but it's just not my major cup of tea. I might think about getting it if I ever run into extra money and I don't have any other games currently on my watch list that I want.
Oh yeah. From what I do know, it's an action RPG made by Nipponichi, so I guess the same company that brought Disgaea 5, the port, over to the Switch. Originally, Lacrimosa was released, I guess, for the PlayStation Vita in 2016, came out on PS4 last year, and yeah, aside from that, again, just one of those odd Japanese RPG titles you never hear about until it actually comes to a Nintendo platform.
Oh, it was also on Windows.
Oh.
So there was a PC version of it as well.
Okay. Alright, so on to a topic a little bit more interesting, probably to you than me, because I still don't have the game. We've got some new content for Super Mario Odyssey. I'm
kind of sad about it, because you don't get to play as Luigi, which, if you've seen our Mario and Luigi, what was it, Paper Jam? I'm a big fan of Luigi, and I was hoping, maybe we get to play as Luigi. Nope. You just find Luigi, then you get to find balloons, and that's it.
Wow.
I'm more excited about the outfits that you get more so than the actual update.
Alright, so other than this balloon minigame, I guess sort of like a hide-and-seek minigame, what else? There was mention of a leaderboard system, right?
Yeah. The faster you get it, the higher your score. Or the faster you find the balloon, the higher your score. Get the higher score, you get put at the top of the leaderboard. Simple stuff.
Alright, at least the good news is the update is free, and it's coming out in February.
Yeah, I've just been patiently waiting on it to come out so I can give it a shot. But meh.
Alright. Okay, so next up, again, another game that I have no interest in. You can see a trend here. SNK Heroines? What the heck is this?
Don't ask me.
Alright, not interested, don't really care about it.
It's not that I'm not interested in it, it's just that I don't really know what it is. And I don't care enough to look into the series. I know that there's a big SNK fan base across like different, servers that I've seen and different Twitter posts, but meh.
All right.
You play as a hot anime lady and you fight other hot anime ladies. That's all I gathered from the trailer.
Okay, so anyone who loves the concept of waifus should play this game, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, enough said. Okay, next up, something that will actually affect me. A new character in Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. What did you think about the introduction of Donkey Kong?
I don't have the game, so I don't care. That's more your speed, Scott.
Didn't you say you were gonna get the game, though, because of Beepo, swearing, Toadette?
I said I was tempted to, but I'd never got the money or, the want compared to Mario Odyssey.
That's disappointing. But if you ever do get it, you ever do decide to get the paid season pass, yeah, you'll get to play as Donkey Kong. I'm interested in finding out how the skill tree is going to work for Donkey Kong, because I guess his main weapon might involve, or maybe a secondary weapon might involve throwing that banana, or sort of like a ranged weapon, but...
I will say this, since they are adding Donkey Kong, what they definitely need to add as a weapon for him is his coconut gun. If they do not add Donkey Kong's coconut gun from DK64 and Super Smash Bros., I'm going to be disappointed.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is a very, very interesting title, because I've said this before, when it was first announced, I really didn't have much to make of it. I was on the fence for the longest amount of time deciding whether I was even gonna buy this game. Ultimately, I got it for a little less than MSRP. I paid 45 bucks for it. I do like it. It is not a replacement for Mario and Luigi or Paper Mario. But since it is really the only turn-based Mario game on the Switch right now, that's why I wanted to give it a shot. And I do like it. I do think it's funny. I do think they did a very good job of combining the two worlds and franchises together. But in a way, this does sort of affirm my initial belief that the game, in a sense, was a little bit rushed in terms of the timeline. Because as you can see, with this development cycle and them pushing out new content, it's like, initially they didn't think much of it, and now that it's essentially become a cult hit, now Ubisoft is actually trying to push out more content and extend the life of it, which is a good thing.
I can understand why they would want to, like, toy with it at the beginning and sort of ease people into it before adding in loads of new content.
Yeah. I mean, at least for the moment anyway, until we get our next M&L title, or Paper Mario title, at least there's something coming out for it. And I've said it, I'll probably get the Season Pass. I'm not quite done the first story part of the game. I'm on the final world right now, but once I'm done that and I finish the remaining challenges, I'll probably get the Season Pass and go from there. Next up after that, we've got a game with evil, creepy clowns, Payday 2?
Okay, so Payday 2, for those who aren't aware what it is, it's basically a game where you've got your group, and you go and rob banks and houses and things. You shoot people. It's... I don't know.
Is it like GTA?
A little bit, but there's more emphasis on the actual crime than anything else. I've never played Payday 2. I've never played Grand Theft Auto either. I've seen bits and pieces of stuff. All I know is that in Payday 2 you just rob banks a lot.
Alright. Okay, I guess if you like robbing banks, you'll be picking this game up. Okay, so next up, what is VIII and Celeste? Just more third-party titles that no one knows about?
Well, I'm not so sure about VIII, but Celeste has been a hit. Almost everything I've seen on Twitter and in a bunch of like Discords I'm in, they've just been praising Celeste, and they have loved it.
Okay. And this is an indie title?
Yeah, it's one of those rare indie hits that you'll just find, and it'll just blow up and be a really amazing game that normally you wouldn't think twice about, but then you actually do.
Okay, so I guess sort of universal acclaim along the lines of Undertale?
Yeah, kinda.
Alright. Okay, and anything you want to add for VIII, or...
I've seen literally nothing for VIII.
Okay, so one game, universal acclaim, the other, nothing. Alright, so, next, interesting port from the Wii U, we've got Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
You played that, didn't you, Scott?
No, I did not.
Really? I could have sworn you did.
No, never bought it for the Wii U. I don't know if I'm gonna get it for the Switch again, just not really a whole big Donkey Kong fan either, but I did notice they included Cranky Kong this time.
Cranky Kong and Funky Kong.
Alright.
Gotta add a bit of the funk into Donkey Kong.
So sort of like a bit of an easier mode, I'm guessing?
I think that's what Funky Kong is being marketed as. He's got that little surf feature, makes him immune to stuff. So he's pretty much easy mode.
Again, it's one of those titles where if I had a list of Wii U games that I had to choose from, first parties, that I would want to port over to the Switch due to the low Wii U system sales, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze would be on it. It did come out 4 years ago, February 2014. So again, a good decision on Kamishima's part, but I just don't think I will be getting it.
I think I'm noticing a pattern with Nintendo and what they're doing with these ports, what they're doing is they're basically taking all of the games that would have been really good on the Wii U and just moving them over to the Switch. So people who sort of just skipped out on the Wii U because they heard negative reviews, because they didn't want to look into it themselves, they didn't want to look into the games, it sort of gives them a chance to get the games without having to, shell out $150 for a Wii U to play it. And I think we're going to see a lot more ports of the more popular Wii U titles for the Switch. Like, we've already seen, Bayonetta 1 and 2 getting announced for the Switch, as well as, Bayonetta 3, which is being Switch exclusive. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that type of, deal going on with the Switch.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially from a business perspective as well, right? In an attempt to sort of come out with like a consistent release schedule, since obviously there's a long time between new first-party releases, filling the gaps with just ports of the most popular Wii U games. Those, obviously would make sense. I would just hope that, as far as the unpopular games, unless Nintendo's gonna focus on fixing them, maybe those would be best left on the Wii U, rather than spending the time porting them over.
Well, yeah, the unpopular and the bad ones will probably be left. But, like, I could see them porting over, something like Kirby and the Rainbow Curse.
Yeah.
At some point over to the Switch. Purely because it's a Kirby game and it'll give people, a fun game to play.
Oh, yeah. There are some others that I could see as well. A lot of people are hoping for a port of Super Mario 3D World.
Or Smash.
Yeah, Super Mario Maker would be nice.
I doubt they'll do Mario Maker because of Miiverse being dead.
Yeah, that's true. Other than that, I don't know what else we would want to see. I do not think that they are going to port over Star Fox Zero.
I doubt that.
Don't port Color Splash, please. For the love of God, don't port it. Release it on VC, but
I doubt they'll do something for Color Splash. I doubt they'll do something for Star Fox Zero. I doubt they'll do something for Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp. Just like, it'll be more of their major titles that they do it for.
Yeah. And that'll help fill the void of, having to wait for, like, a brand new first-party release.
Right.
Other than that, we've got one more thing to talk about here, before we wrap things up.
Praise the sun!
Dark Souls Remastered!
That's a meme, isn't it?
Alright, so, what do you think on this?
I played a little bit of Dark Souls 3, I didn't like it. Played a little bit of Dark Souls 2, didn't like it. Played the really, really crappy port of Dark Souls 1 on PC, didn't like it. I have a bunch of friends who go on and on and on about Dark Souls and how much they love Dark Souls. And it's just like, I'm slightly tempted to get it just to give it an actual try. But for fans of the series who also like Nintendo consoles, they'll love it. But if they're a fan of Dark Souls, odds are they either have a gaming PC or a PS4. And so they're just gonna skip it completely. But for people like, me, who has a PS4, a Switch, and a PC, and who wants more games for their Switch, they'd probably get it on that.
Yeah, it, just like Tropical Freeze's port, apparently this remastered version of Dark Souls is also coming in May. Again, not really my cup of tea. That's just me personally.
Oh,
but,
this would definitely not be your cup of tea, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
This would absolutely be nothing you like.
Do you know me that well by now?
No, I just know Dark Souls.
Okay. But yeah, so I guess ultimately, I won't be getting it, but are you?
I won't get it when it comes out. I might get it for Christmas this year. I do want to give the series an actual shot, but other than that, no, not really. It's cool for Dark Souls fans. If you have a Switch and always wanted to play Dark Souls on the go, now you have the option.
Alright.
There's really... If you only have a Switch and you like Dark Souls, really, you couldn't ask for a better port. And it is the remastered port. So, like, it'll look nicer, it'll play a lot nicer, it won't be... It's still going to be 30 FPS compared to the PC and PS4 remastered version, which is going to be 60 FPS, but that's the limitations that you have to deal with when playing on the Switch.
Alright, so portability, I guess wins out on this one. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything that was announced in the Nintendo Direct Mini. So I will give my concluding thoughts on it. Myself, again, just like I mentioned before, it's a miniature Direct, so I wasn't really expecting a whole lot out of it, and as you guys can probably tell, aside from the Rabbids Kingdom Battle DLC, not really interested in anything else. That's why I think, for the most part, this is going to be a slow year for the Switch, at least for me.
Oh, see, that hurts me, Scott.
Oh, what?
The world ends with you.
I know you're into that, but I'm not a big fan myself. But
it's not turn-based.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, well, I mean, it's pretty much what I expected here. I mean, Nintendo recently reconfirmed that well, I mean, it's not really a reconfirmation, it's just sort of like a broad timeline, but they said that the new Pokemon Core title is scheduled to be released in 2018 or later, which really doesn't tell anything else than what we already knew. I still don't think we're gonna see it until 2019. When we look at other stuff like Mario and Luigi, you're probably not going to see that till late 2019. Paper Mario, probably not till 2020 at the earliest. And the only other thing that I'm interested in this year is Fire Emblem, and if my suspicions are correct, it's going to be a Q4 holiday title. So, other than that and the Rabbids DLC, not really much that I'm excited about at the moment. What about with you?
I'm not necessarily excited about most things that they announced. The World Ends With You, obviously, I am over the moon for. I'm super pumped up for that. Dark Souls, certainly interesting. Mario Tennis is gonna be, it's gonna be an interesting shot. Same with Donkey Kong, you know. But, I don't know, I feel like this Direct, there was just a little bit of something for everyone.
I feel that, and I could be wrong on this, but I feel like we're gonna get a bigger Direct either sometime in March or April before E3. Just a feeling. And then, hopefully at E3, Nintendo announces something. Well, I mean, first off, I would hope that Intelligent Systems can announce something on Fire Emblem, because otherwise, we're not getting it this year. But I would hope there's something else in E3 that sort of grabs my attention.
There'll probably be some big things at E3.
Alright, so that pretty much covers everything. We are pretty much out of time. Any last thoughts, Roxy?
Definitely, I will absolutely recommend The World Ends With You to anyone. Purely because of even if you're not a fan of the gameplay, the music alone is worth it. Like, it's great. And so, just definitely look into The World Ends With You. I can't push that game enough.
Other than that, though, nothing, really...
Nothing else.
Yeah. I had the same thoughts overall.
Oh! One more thing we forgot to mention, Scott.
Oh!
A big thing, too, for Pokemon fans.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Pokemon Crystal is available on the 3DS.
Oh, we covered that last month. Everyone knows about that.
We covered it, but it actually came out this month.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Alright. And what are your thoughts?
It's Pokemon Crystal.
Okay.
It's Gen 2. Not the biggest fan of Gen 2. You can solo the entire game with a Feraligatr if you want.
Like someone here did, obviously.
I've done it. It's possible. But if you never got to play Gen 2 and you don't want to spend $50 on Heart Gold and Soul Silver, spend the $10 to get Pokemon Crystal.
Can't argue with that. And that's it, we're done for tonight. Remember, you can get the latest announcements and updates on your favorite TOONDISE programs by visiting the all-new TOONDISE.com. Also follow us on Twitter at TOONDISE, #GameView. And if you enjoy what we're doing, you can show your support on patreon.com/TOONDISE and also by hitting that like button. Until next time, I'm Scott.
I'm Roxy.
We'll see you later.
Peace out.